I stared at the crumpled note in my hand, my heart pounding. The looping handwriting was unfamiliar, but the words were unmistakable. "Can't wait to see you again, my love." It wasn't addressed to me. "Beth, you okay in there?" Adam's voice carried from downstairs, snapping me back to reality. I quickly shoved the note into my pocket and took a deep breath. "Coming!" I called back, forcing cheerfulness into my voice. I gave myself a quick once-over in the mirror, smoothing my hair and plastering on a smile. Just another day in the life of Beth Thompson, loving wife and dedicated mother. As I descended the stairs, I could hear Adam on the phone, his voice low and urgent. "I told you, not now. I'll call you back later." He hung up abruptly as I entered the kitchen. "Everything all right?" I asked, busying myself with making coffee. Adam's smile didn't quite reach his eyes. "Just work stuff. You know how it is." I did know. It was always work stuff these days. I poured 2 mugs of coffee and slid one across the counter to him. "Speaking of work, I was thinking we could take a long weekend soon. Maybe go up to the lake house?" Adam's fingers tightened around the mug. "I don't know, Beth. Things are pretty hectic at the office right now." "They're always hectic," I said, unable to keep the edge from my voice. "When was the last time we did something as a family?" He sighed, checking his watch. "Can we talk about this later? I'm running late." Before I could respond, our daughter Emma burst into the kitchen, backpack in tow. "Mom, did you sign my permission slip?" I blinked, momentarily thrown. "Permission slip?" Emma rolled her eyes. "For the field trip next week?" "I told you about it yesterday." I fumbled in my purse for a pen, feeling Adam's impatient gaze on me. "Here you go, sweetie. Have a great day at school." As Emma dashed out the door, Adam grabbed his briefcase. "I've got a late meeting tonight. Don't wait up." "Adam, wait." But he was already gone, the front door slamming behind him. I slumped against the counter, the house suddenly too quiet. The note in my pocket felt like it was burning a hole through the fabric. I pulled it out, reading the words again. My fingers itched to call Adam to demand an explanation. But what if I was jumping to conclusions? The doorbell jolted me from my thoughts. I hastily shoved the note back into my pocket and went to answer it. My neighbor Jane stood on the porch, a plate of muffins in her hands. "Good morning, Beth. I thought you could use a pick-me-up." I managed to smile, ushering her inside. "You're a lifesaver, Jane. Come on in." We settled at the kitchen table, and Jane's keen eyes didn't miss a thing. "What's wrong, dear? You look like you've seen a ghost." I hesitated, then pulled out the note. "I found this in Adam's jacket pocket this morning." Jane's eyebrows shot up as she read it. "Oh, honey, I don't know what to think," I admitted, my voice cracking. "Things have been off lately. But this..." Jane reached across the table, squeezing my hand. "Now don't go jumping to conclusions. Have you talked to Adam about it?" I shook my head. "I don't know how. What if I'm wrong? What if I'm not?" "You need to confront him," Jane said firmly. "You deserve the truth, Beth." As if on cue, my phone buzzed with a text from Adam. "Working late again. Don't hold dinner." I showed Jane the message, feeling a mix of anger and despair. How am I supposed to confront him when he's never even here? Jane's eyes hardened. "Then you make him be here. It's time to take control, Beth. You can't let this eat away at you." I nodded, a plan already forming in my mind. "You're right. I'll invite him to lunch tomorrow. Neutral ground." "That's my girl," Jane said, patting my hand. "And remember, I'm right next door if you need anything." As Jane left, I felt a strange mix of dread and determination. Tomorrow, I'd get my answers. One way or another, things were about to change. I sat at the bustling cafe, my stomach in knots as I waited for Adam. The note burned in my pocket, a constant reminder of why I was here. When he finally walked in, 15 minutes late, his eyes darted around nervously before settling on me. "Beth, what's this about?" Adam asked, sliding into the seat across from me. "I've got a meeting in an hour." I took a deep breath. "I found something, Adam, in your jacket pocket." I pulled out the note and slid it across the table. His face paled as he read it. "Beth, I can explain." "Please do," I said, my voice steadier than I felt, "because right now I'm having a hard time believing this isn't what it looks like." Adam ran a hand through his hair. "It's not." "It's from Lisa, my new assistant. She's been going through a tough time, and I've been mentoring her." "That's all." "Mentoring?" I repeated, incredulous. "With love notes?" "You're blowing this out of proportion," Adam said, his tone dismissive. Lisa's just grateful for my help. You're letting your insecurities get the best of you. His words stung, but I pressed on. Then why hide it? Why all the late nights and secretive phone calls? Adam's eyes flashed with anger. Because I knew you'd react like this. You're always jumping to conclusions, Beth. Maybe if you focused more on our family instead of imagining problems. Imagining? I cut him off, my voice rising. You're never home, Adam. When was the last time you had dinner with us, or helped Emma with her homework? He glanced at his watch, clearly agitated. I'm working hard to provide for this family. Speaking of which, have you seen our credit card bill lately? Your grocery spending is out of control. I blinked, thrown by the sudden change of subject. What are you talking about? Adam pulled out his phone, scrolling through something before shoving it in my face. Look at this. $800 last month on groceries alone. It's ridiculous, Beth. We have a growing teenager, I defended, feeling my cheeks flush, and I buy quality ingredients. We can't afford your gourmet experiments anymore, Adam snapped. From now on, I want you to stick to a strict budget, $100 a month for groceries. I stared at him, speechless. That's impossible, Adam. You can't be serious. I'm dead serious, he said, standing up. Figure it out, Beth. I've got to go. As he walked away, leaving me sitting there stunned, I felt a tap on my shoulder. I turned to see Lisa standing there, a sympathetic smile on her face. Mrs. Thompson? I'm Lisa, Adam's assistant. He asked me to drop off these files for him. She handed me a folder, her eyes flickering to the note still on the table. I hope I'm not interrupting anything. I studied her face, searching for any sign of guilt or deception. She was younger than I expected, probably in her early 30s, with a warm smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. Not at all, Lisa, I said, forcing a smile. Thank you for bringing these by. As she walked away, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to her relationship with Adam than he was letting on. The way she looked at the note, the familiarity in her voice when she mentioned Adam's name, it all felt off. I gathered my things, my mind reeling from the confrontation with Adam and the unexpected appearance of Lisa. As I stepped out onto the sidewalk, my phone buzzed with a text from Jane. How did it go? Come over if you need to talk. I typed back a quick reply. On my way. You won't believe what just happened. Walking to Jane's house, I felt a mix of emotions swirling inside me. Anger at Adam's dismissal of my concerns, hurt at his accusations, and a growing determination to prove him wrong about the grocery budget. If he wanted me to cut costs, I'd show him just how creative I could be. Little did I know, this challenge would be the spark that would ignite a whole new chapter in my life. One that would test my resilience, showcase my skills, and ultimately lead me down a path I never expected. I stood in the grocery store, staring at the shelves with a mixture of determination and frustration. $100 for a month's worth of groceries seemed impossible, but I was determined to prove Adam wrong. You can do this, Beth, I muttered to myself, grabbing a basket and heading to the produce section. As I carefully selected the cheapest vegetables, my phone buzzed. It was Emma. Mom, where's dinner? I'm starving. I glanced at my watch, realizing how late it had gotten. I'll be home soon, sweetie. How about we try something new tonight? An idea struck me. I quickly snapped a photo of my sparse basket and posted it on social media with the caption, Challenge accepted. $100 grocery budget for the month. Who says you can't eat well on a budget? Frugal feast. Back home, I got to work in the kitchen, determined to make something delicious out of my limited ingredients. As the aroma of garlic and herbs filled the air, Emma wandered in. What are you making? She asked, peering into the pot. Lentil and vegetable soup, I replied, stirring the bubbling mixture. And homemade bread. Emma wrinkled her nose. Lentils? Gross. Just try it, I urged, ladling out a small portion for her. To my surprise, Emma's eyes widened after the first spoonful. This is actually really good, Mom. Encouraged, I snapped a photo of the finished meal and posted it online. By the time Adam came home, late as usual, my phone was buzzing with notifications. What's all that about? He asked, eyeing my phone suspiciously. I showed him the posts. I'm documenting my $100 grocery challenge. People seem interested. Adam scoffed. Social media won't pay the bills, Beth. I bit back a retort, focusing instead on the positive comments flooding my feed. People were asking for recipes, tips, and more photos. Over the next few weeks, I threw myself into the challenge. Each meal became an opportunity to showcase my creativity. I experimented with new recipes, turning simple ingredients into gourmet dishes. My social media following grew rapidly, with people from all over sharing their own budget-friendly meal ideas. One evening, as I was putting the finishing touches on a particularly photogenic casserole, Jane called. "Beth, have you checked your email?" she asked excitedly. "No, why?" "There's a local cooking show interested in featuring you. They want you to do a segment on budget-friendly cooking." My heart raced. "Are you serious?" "Absolutely. This could be big, Beth." As I hung up, still in shock, Adam walked in. "Who was that?" I told him about the cooking show offer, unable to contain my excitement. Adam's face darkened. "You're not seriously considering this, are you? It's just a hobby, Beth. You need to focus on our family, not chasing some pipe dream." His words hit me like a slap. "A pipe dream, Adam? People are genuinely interested in what I'm doing. This could be an opportunity." "An opportunity for what?" he interrupted. "To embarrass yourself on TV? To neglect your responsibilities here at home?" I felt my anger rising. "My responsibilities? I've been managing this household on a shoestring budget while you're never home. I'm creating something for myself, something that could actually help people." Adam's phone buzzed, and he glanced at it, his expression changing. "I have to go. We'll discuss this later." As he rushed out, I caught a glimpse of his screen, a text from Lisa, "Can't wait to see you tonight." My stomach dropped. Despite my suspicions, seeing it in black and white felt like a punch to the gut. In that moment, something inside me snapped. I picked up my phone and dialed the number for the cooking show. "Hello, this is Beth Thompson. I'd love to do the segment on budget-friendly cooking." As I hung up, I felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. I was stepping into uncharted territory, but for the first time in years, I felt alive. Whatever Adam was up to with Lisa, whatever challenges lay ahead, I was ready to face them head-on. Little did I know, this decision would be the first step on a journey that would change my life forever. The studio lights were hot on my face as I demonstrated how to make a hearty bean stew for under $5. My hands moved confidently, chopping vegetables and explaining each step to the camera. As the segment wrapped up, the host turned to me with a beaming smile. "Beth, that was fantastic. Your tips are going to help so many families. How does it feel to be our new rising culinary star?" I laughed, feeling a mixture of pride and disbelief. It's surreal, honestly. I'm just glad I can help people eat well on a budget. As I left the studio, my phone buzzed with notifications. My social media following had exploded overnight, and my inbox was flooded with messages from viewers asking for more recipes and advice. I was so engrossed in responding to comments that I almost missed Adam's text. "Where are you? Emma's recital starts in 30 minutes. My heart sank. In the whirlwind of the TV appearance, I'd completely forgotten about Emma's piano recital. I rushed to hail a cab, praying I'd make it in time. I slipped into the auditorium just as Emma was taking her seat at the piano. Adam glared at me from across the room, his disappointment palpable. As Emma's fingers danced across the keys, I felt a mix of pride in her talent and guilt for almost missing this moment. After the recital, Emma ran to me, her face glowing. "Mom, did you see? I didn't mess up once." I hugged her tightly. "You were amazing, sweetheart. I'm so proud of you." Adam approached, his expression stern. "Nice of you to show up, Beth. Where were you?" Before I could respond, Emma piped up. "Dad, Mom was on TV. My friends saw her cooking show and said it was awesome." Adam's eyes narrowed. "TV show? Is that where you've been all day?" I took a deep breath. "Adam, can we talk about this at home? This is Emma's night." The drive home was tense, with Emma chattering excitedly about her performance while Adam remained silent. Once Emma was in bed, Adam confronted me in the kitchen. "You missed our daughter's recital for a cooking show?" he hissed. "What's gotten into you, Beth?" I felt my anger rising. "I made a mistake, Adam. It won't happen again. But this show, my social media, it's becoming something real. I'm helping people, and for once, I feel like I'm doing something for myself." Adam scoffed. "For yourself? What about our family? While you're playing chef on TV, who's taking care of things at home?" "I am," I shot back. "I'm still managing everything here, plus bringing in extra money. When was the last time you were home for dinner or helped Emma with her homework?" Adam's phone buzzed, and he glanced at it reflexively. I caught a glimpse of Lisa's name on the screen. "Another late night at the office?" I asked, my voice dripping with sarcasm. Adam's face hardened. "As a matter of fact, yes. I have a business trip tomorrow. I'll be gone for a few days." "With Lisa?" The words slipped out before I could stop them. Adam's eyes flashed with anger. "Don't start that again, Beth. I told you, there's nothing going on with Lisa." As he stormed out of the kitchen, I felt a mix of hurt and suspicion churning in my gut. Despite Adam's denials, I couldn't shake the feeling that he was hiding something. The next day, I found myself at the airport, picking up Emma from her school trip. As we waited for her classmates, a familiar voice caught my attention. I turned to see Adam and Lisa walking together, their heads close as they talked in hushed tones. They hadn't noticed me. My heart raced as I watched them disappear into the crowd, heading towards the departure gates. Adam had lied about his business trip. He was leaving with Lisa. In that moment, everything changed. The suspicions I'd been trying to ignore came crashing down on me. I knew I had a decision to make, one that would alter the course of our lives forever. As Emma bounded over to me, oblivious to the turmoil I was feeling, I plastered on a smile. But inside, I was already planning my next move. It was time to face the truth about my marriage, no matter how painful it might be. I paced the living room, my mind racing with the image of Adam and Lisa at the airport. Jane sat on the couch, her eyes filled with concern. "Beth, honey, you need to calm down," she said gently. "You don't know for sure what's going on." I whirled to face her. "Don't I? The secretive phone calls, the late nights, and now this business trip with Lisa? What more proof do I need?" Jane sighed. "If you really want to know the truth, there's only one way to be sure." I stopped pacing. "What do you mean?" "I have a friend," Jane said hesitantly. "He's a private investigator. If you're serious about finding out what Adam's up to, he can help." My heart raced at the thought. Was I really considering hiring a detective to spy on my husband? But then I remembered the look on Adam's face when he lied about his trip, and my resolve hardened. "Give me his number," I said. The next few days were a blur of anxiety and anticipation. While Adam was away, I threw myself into my cooking show and social media presence, using it as a distraction from the gnawing worry in my gut. Finally, the detective called. "Mrs. Thompson, I have the information you requested. Would you like to meet in person?" My hands shook as I drove to the detective's office. He greeted me with a sympathetic smile and handed me a thick envelope. "I'm sorry, Mrs. Thompson," he said softly, "but I think you'll find all the evidence you need in there." I opened the envelope with trembling fingers. Inside were photos of Adam and Lisa together, at restaurants, entering a hotel, even kissing in a park. My world shattered around me as I flipped through image after damning image. "How long?" I managed to choke out. "Based on our investigation, the affair has been going on for at least 6 months, the detective replied gently. 6 months. Half a year of lies, of betrayal. I felt sick to my stomach. I drove home in a daze, the envelope of photos burning a hole in my purse. As I walked through the door, I heard Adam's voice from the kitchen. "Beth, is that you? I'm home early." I froze, panic rising in my chest. I wasn't ready to confront him, not yet. I needed time to think, to plan. "Yeah, it's me," I called back, fighting to keep my voice steady. "I'm just going to take a shower." I locked myself in the bathroom, turning on the shower to muffle the sound of my sobs. As the water ran, I pulled out my phone and texted Jane. "You were right, he's been cheating. What do I do now?" Her response came quickly. "Come over. We'll figure this out together." I took a deep breath, composing myself. I had to face Adam, had to pretend everything was normal until I decided my next move. As I walked downstairs, I heard Adam on the phone. "I told you, we can't keep doing this," he whispered urgently. "Beth's getting suspicious." My blood boiled. Even now, he was talking to Lisa, planning their deception. In that moment, something inside me snapped. I was done being the dutiful wife, always putting everyone else's needs before my own. It was time to take control of my life. I marched into the kitchen, startling Adam. He quickly ended his call, plastering on a guilty smile. "Beth, I was just about to come find you. I thought we could have dinner together tonight, just the two of us." I looked at him, really looked at him, and saw the lies written all over his face. In that moment, I made my decision. "Actually, Adam," I said, my voice surprisingly calm, "I have plans tonight. And tomorrow, I think we need to have a serious talk about our future. The smile fell from his face, replaced by a flicker of fear. Good, I thought. He should be afraid. As I walked out the door, head held high, I felt a strange mix of pain and liberation. The life I had known was over, but a new chapter was about to begin. And this time, I would be the one writing the story. I stood in the kitchen, my hands shaking as I prepared dinner. It wasn't the usual gourmet meal I'd become known for on my cooking show. No, tonight was different. Tonight, everything would change. The front door opened, and Adam's voice called out, "Beth, I'm home." I took a deep breath, steadying myself. "In the kitchen," I replied, my voice surprisingly calm. Adam walked in, loosening his tie. He paused, taking in the scene before him, a simple meal of beans and rice on the table. "What's this?" he asked, confusion evident in his voice. I met his gaze. "Dinner. On the budget you insisted upon." He frowned, reaching for his phone. "I'll just order something." "No," I said firmly. "This is what we can afford now. Sit down, Adam. We need to talk." Reluctantly, he took a seat. I placed a plate in front of him and sat across the table, my heart pounding. "Beth, what's going on?" Adam asked, pushing the food around his plate. I took a deep breath. "I know about Lisa, Adam. I know everything." The color drained from his face. "What are you talking about?" "Don't," I said, my voice cracking. "Don't lie to me anymore. I have proof." I pulled out the envelope of photos and slid it across the table. Adam's hands trembled as he opened it, his eyes widening as he flipped through the damning evidence. "Beth, I can explain." "Save it." I cut him off. "I don't want to hear any more lies. What I want to know is why. Why wasn't I enough?" Adam's shoulders slumped. "It's not that simple. You've been so focused on your cooking show, your social media, I felt neglected." I laughed bitterly. "Neglected? I've been killing myself trying to make ends meet on the ridiculous budget you imposed. I've been taking care of our home, our daughter, while you've been off with your mistress." "I'm sorry," Adam whispered. "I never meant for this to happen." "But it did happen," I said, my voice growing stronger. "And now we have to deal with the consequences." I reached into my bag and pulled out a thick envelope. Adam's eyes widened as I slid it across the table. "What's this?" he asked, his voice barely audible. "Divorce papers," I replied. "I want you out of the house by the end of the week." Adam's face contorted with anger. "You can't do this. Where am I supposed to go? How will I afford?" "Figure it out," I snapped, echoing his words from months ago. "You managed to afford hotel rooms with Lisa. I'm sure you'll manage." Adam stood up abruptly, his chair scraping against the floor. "This isn't over, Beth. You can't just throw away our marriage like this." I rose to meet his gaze. "You threw it away the moment you decided to cheat. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a live cooking segment to prepare for." As I turned to leave, Adam grabbed my arm. "Beth, please, we can work this out. Think about Emma." I wrenched my arm free. "I am thinking about Emma. I'm thinking about the example I want to set for our daughter, and it's not staying with a man who doesn't respect me or our family." Adam's face crumpled. "What am I supposed to tell her?" "The truth," I said, my voice softening slightly. "She deserves that much." As Adam slumped back into his chair, defeat written across his face, I felt a mix of emotions wash over me. Anger, sadness, but also a strange sense of liberation. I walked out of the kitchen, leaving Adam with his cold beans and rice. My phone buzzed with a reminder about my upcoming live segment. As I prepared for the show, I realized that for the first time in years, I was cooking just for me. No more bending over backward to please Adam, no more compromising my passion to fit his expectations. The camera light blinked on, and I plastered on a smile. "Welcome back to Frugal Feasts with Beth," I said, my voice steady despite the turmoil in my heart. "Today, we're going to talk about starting fresh and making the most of what you have." As I began chopping vegetables, I knew that this wasn't just about cooking anymore. It was about reclaiming my life, one ingredient at a time. The days after I served Adam the divorce papers were a blur of emotions and activity. I threw myself into my work, filming more cooking segments and engaging with my growing online community. It was easier to focus on chopping vegetables than to think about the implosion of my marriage. One evening, as I was editing a video for my latest budget-friendly recipe, the doorbell rang. I opened it to find Adam standing there, looking disheveled and desperate. "Beth, please," he said, his voice cracking. "We need to talk." Against my better judgment, I let him in. We sat at the kitchen table, the scene of so many family dinners and recent confrontations. "I've been thinking," Adam began, "and I realize I've made a terrible mistake. I want to make things right. Give us another chance." I felt a flicker of hope, quickly extinguished by the memory of his betrayal. "It's too late for that, Adam." He reached across the table, grasping my hand. "Is it? Think about Emma. Think about our life together. We can work through this." I pulled my hand away. "And what about Lisa?" Adam's face fell. "It's over with her. It was a mistake, Beth. You're the one I want to be with." As he spoke, my phone buzzed with a notification. A major food network was interested in developing a show around my budget-friendly cooking concept. The irony wasn't lost on me. The very thing that had driven a wedge between us was now offering me a lifeline. Adam noticed my distraction. "What is it?" I hesitated, then decided to be honest. "A TV network wants to meet about a potential show." His eyes widened. That's great, Beth. See? This is why we need to stay together. We're a team. I can help you negotiate the contract, manage your career. We can do this together." I felt a surge of anger. "Now you're interested in my career? After months of dismissing it as a hobby?" "I was wrong," Adam pleaded. "I see now how talented you are, how much potential you have. Let me make it up to you." For a moment I wavered. The thought of keeping our family intact, of not having to face the world alone, was tempting. But then I remembered the photos, the lies, the months of feeling inadequate and unloved. "No," I said firmly. "I'm doing this on my own, Adam. I don't need you to manage my career or my life." Adam's face hardened. "You're making a mistake, Beth. You need me. How are you going to handle a TV show and take care of Emma? How will you manage the finances?" His words stung, but they also ignited a fire within me. "The same way I've been managing everything while you were off with Lisa. I'm stronger than you think, Adam." He stood up abruptly, his chair scraping against the floor. "You're being selfish, Beth. Think about Emma. She needs both her parents." "Don't you dare use our daughter to manipulate me," I snapped. "Emma needs parents who respect each other and themselves. I'm setting an example for her by not staying in a marriage without trust." Adam's face contorted with anger. "Fine. If that's how you want it, we'll do this the hard way. I'll fight you for everything. The house, custody, alimony. You'll see how much you need me." As he stormed towards the door, I felt a mix of fear and determination. "Adam," I called out. He turned, a glimmer of hope in his eyes. "Don't forget to take your frugal cooking tips with you. You're going to need them." The door slammed behind him, and I sank into a chair, my body shaking. I had just burned the last bridge, cut the final tie to my old life. The reality of what lay ahead, a bitter divorce, a custody battle, launching a TV career, hit me like a tidal wave. But as I sat there surrounded by the remnants of my cooking experiments and the tools of my newfound passion, I realized something. I wasn't just surviving on a shoestring budget anymore. I was thriving. And no matter what challenges lay ahead, I would face them on my own terms. I picked up my phone and dialed the network executive's number. It was time to write the next chapter of my life. And this time, I'd be the one holding the pen. I stood backstage, my heart pounding as I listened to the roar of the studio audience. It had been a whirlwind year since I'd signed the deal for my own cooking show, Frugal Feasts with Beth. The divorce had been finalized, the custody battle settled, and now here I was about to film the season finale. "You're on in 5, Beth," the stage manager called. I took a deep breath, smoothing my apron. As I stepped onto the set, the familiar warmth of the studio lights washed over me. The audience applauded, and I felt a surge of confidence. "Welcome back to Frugal Feasts," I began, smiling into the camera. "Today, we're making something special, a meal that represents new beginnings and the strength we find in ourselves." As I cooked, sharing tips and stories, I thought about how far I'd come. The woman who had once struggled to feed her family on $100 a month was now teaching millions how to create delicious, affordable meals. But it wasn't just about the food anymore. "You know," I said, looking directly into the camera, "when I started this journey, I thought I was just learning to cook on a budget. But I've realized it's about so much more. It's about finding your worth, standing up for yourself, and never letting anyone dim your light." The audience murmured in agreement, and I saw a few women wiping away tears. I thought of all the messages I'd received from viewers, women who had left abusive relationships, started their own businesses, or simply found the courage to value themselves. As I plated the final dish, a hearty vegetable stew that cost less than $5 to make, I felt a lump form in my throat. This meal, I said, my voice thick with emotion, is dedicated to every person out there who's ever felt trapped, undervalued, or alone. You are stronger than you know, and you deserve to thrive, not just survive. The audience erupted in applause, and as the director called, "Cut!" I felt a wave of emotion wash over me. I'd done it. I'd not only survived, but flourished. After the show, as I was gathering my things in the dressing room, there was a knock at the door. I opened it to find Emma and Jane standing there beaming. "Mom, you were amazing," Emma exclaimed, throwing her arms around me. Jane hugged me too, her eyes shining with pride. "You've come so far, Beth. I always knew you had it in you." As we chatted, my phone buzzed with a notification. It was a message from Adam. "Saw the show. You were incredible. I'm sorry for everything. I hope you can forgive me someday." I stared at the message, a mix of emotions swirling inside me. Part of me wanted to delete it, to erase Adam from my life completely. But another part recognized that forgiveness wasn't about him. It was about freeing myself. I typed a simple reply, "Thank you. I hope you find happiness too." As I hit send, I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. I turned to Emma and Jane, smiling. "How about we celebrate with dinner? I know a great place where we can eat like queens on a pauper's budget." We laughed together, heading out into the warm evening. As we walked, I thought about the journey that had brought me here. From a desperate housewife trying to stretch a meager budget to a successful TV host and author, I had transformed not just my circumstances, but myself. I realized that the real frugal feast wasn't just about the food on our plates. It was about savoring the richness of life, even when resources seem scarce. It was about finding abundance in unexpected places, in friendship, in family, in the strength we discover within ourselves. As we sat down to our celebratory meal, I raised my glass. "To new beginnings," I said, "and to the feast of life that's always within our reach, if we just have the courage to claim it." Emma and Jane clinked their glasses with mine, and in that moment I knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, I was ready to face them. I had found my recipe for happiness, and I was eager to share it with the world, one frugal, fabulous meal at a time.